I'm definitely a morning person. And the drive to work to me has always been a great time to have a little brainstorm session with myself. I remember in particular one morning where the idea popped in my head, what if we made an SE DGT? Could we pull it off? It's a complicated project involving a lot of people, but a project like this always starts with making sure the artist is on board.
Hi, I'm David Grissom. I am a guitar player, songwriter, producer from Austin, Texas. I met Paul in, I think, 86 at a Dallas guitar show. Rather happenstance, I'd already bought a PRS guitar in 85. I was very flattered that he introduced himself, and we struck up a conversation, and he said he liked the way I played, and 15 minutes later he said, I'd like to send you a guitar. I was very excited to have a relationship with the guitar company, especially it was a guitar that I was playing all the time. It wasn't like, if I give you this guitar, will you do an ad for us or whatever, or will you do a video? It wasn't anything like that at all. It was very organic, and I just remember him being a cool dude.
You know, I remember meeting David just like it was yesterday. I was at a vintage guitar show, and there was this guy in one of the vintage booths playing a guitar, and he had real character in his hands. He was something. He's one of the best gunslingers I've ever witnessed. I've watched him walk up to the stage and tear it down. David's just a good guitar player, really good guitar player.
The first interaction I had with David was around the development of the original McCarty guitar.
He wanted a guitar that sounded like Duane Allman live at the Fillmore, and he helped design that guitar, and that became the McCarty.
In my quest to get more bottom end and clarity and out of the guitar, I special ordered an instrument, and so many of the things that I was asking for were really kind of invented by Ted. And the Chord DGT came about, you know, after about 12 or 13 years of playing the McCarty and then adding the trim to it and then tweaking pickups and frets, the neck shape a little bit.
The Chord DGT is an incredibly specific instrument. Even the smallest details are completely intentional, and I don't think David would want it any other way.
I would say he's incredibly meticulous. He holds my hands to the fire. If we do a clinic in a store, he doesn't bring a guitar. He wants the guitar that he pulls off the wall to be as good as his touring guitar. So he doesn't bring a guitar on purpose to make sure there's going to be a fire check. It's never bothered me because I knew how good the guitar on the wall was, but it really is a little nerve-wracking. And what if he waves it off in front of the whole clinic, you know?
When Jack first called me about the SE DGT, I was a little bit hesitant. I did not want to put my name on anything that I was not going to feel comfortable playing. But the more we talked and the more I realized what was going on at the new factory, I became interested really quickly.
PT Court is located in Mojokerto, which is near Surabaya in East Java, Indonesia. If you haven't seen our factory video, you should, because you'll see that there's about 450 workers every day working only on PRS SE series guitars. I speak with the factory on Zoom at least once a week, usually twice a week. We email throughout the night. I visit the factory at least 4 or 5 times a year. We have a level of partnership that I think is extraordinary inside of our industry. There are times that we've said, this guitar took 2 years to develop, and people are like, how could anything take 2 years to develop? And part of me wanting to tell this story is explaining why it takes 2 years to develop. So here's the 30,000-foot view of how product development works inside of the SE series. First comes the concept, the notion that there's an instrument out there that you want to see come to light. The second part of the process is communication. You've got to circulate that idea through the different parts of the company: artist relations, marketing, engineering, R&D, making sure that what you have as a concept holds water within all of those departments. The next step in the process is engineering. That's internal PRS engineering. The same team that does private stock and core and S2 and everything else inside of the company also works within the SE series on products. And the first phase of that engineering is in drawings, 3D modeling, things that you can visually look at and make sure the concept that you had in your head is valid and is worth proceeding with. After that, we're in R&D and we're in prototyping mode, and we're making sure the thing that we thought, the thing that we saw on a screen, now when we hold it in our hands, that's a valid product. Next, we're going to go to our manufacturing partners with this prototype. We're going to start working with them on how what we build in our factory, now how do they build it in their factory. After the prototyping phase, we start working on our processes with PT Court, making sure that the steps that we use to manufacture the guitar keep the spirit of the guitar intact. The next step in the process is artist approval. And it's more than just a technical approval. We don't want just to check in a box that they say, okay, go for it. We want to make sure that the artist is very happy with the instrument and is proud to have their name on it. After we have a process that we feel is robust and good, now we're into final prototypes and pre-production runs, and then we're into manufacturing. Now we're making guitars in quantities in Indonesia. Now we're into the launch. And the launch is about communication. It's explaining to the guitar player and the dealer what it is that we've designed, why it is we designed it, what the intention of the instrument is, and how it is that you can come to experience it. So that's your 30,000-foot view of the process. There's a lot of times that you'll do some of those steps 3 or 4 times in order to get that instrument just right. I remember getting off the phone with David and being very excited that he was excited, but I think he also was wondering how well we could execute a project like this.
There's no way I was going to put my name on it if it was an instrument that I had no desire or didn't feel confident playing. The thing that scares me the most is that somebody that I really respect is going to walk into a store and pick one up, and it's not going to play in tune, it's not going to be set up properly. I want the guys at the factory to understand that the height of the strings of the nut is not designed so that it's easier for you and you can do it faster. It's designed so that the guitar will play properly and be in tune at the first fret.
One of the cool things about working with David is he can pick up one guitar and then another guitar and feel 10,000ths of an inch difference front to back and a neck. He doesn't know it's 10,000, but he can say, this one's a little bit bigger, and he's never wrong.
I didn't just rubber stamp this. This is something that I've really been involved in, and I'm really, really proud of and grateful that PRS is doing this. I agreed to an SE model in principle because the idea that more people could afford to have an instrument of that quality really appealed to me. The SE now is light years ahead of anything that I was able to get my hands on the first couple of years that I was playing. So it's really amazing how far the ability to make a quality instrument at a reasonable price has come.
Guitars should be inspirations. You shouldn't have to fight it. You should have a song in your head, and the guitar should be a conduit to having that art in your head come out.
And that is really ultimately the goal of the SE series. So we've covered logistics, technical, how we get from point A to point B. Now we're going to go to the fun part, and we're going to build some guitars.